Meet the world's fastest backwards runner.
Are particles real?
I think in a way physics has been a progress away from Mr.
On fluid movement, and this is the best I've seen.
What's up, YouTube? Today, we'll be looking at disturbing TikToks that'll make you question reality. So without further ado, welcome to Adam Strain Reacts. Let's get her done.
Hi, I'm Aaron Yoder. I'm a backwards runner. I have the world record for the fastest mile ran backwards. My fastest backwards mile time is 5 minutes and 54 seconds. I've been running for over 20 years. I started running competitively when I was in elementary school and then ran on scholarship during my early 20s. I ran so much that I sustained a knee injury. My doctor told me to stop running, and I really didn't want to stop, so I knew I had to make some sort of change. Retro running or backwards running is where you're literally just running in reverse, and there's no impact on my knee. I run backwards everywhere. I run backwards on the treadmill, I run backwards on the track, and also out on country roads. Backwards running feels great on my knee. I don't feel anything, which is a reason why I really enjoy it.
Look how advanced these robots out of China are at the moment. They've just taught them advanced Kung Fu and martial arts. They're focusing on fluid movement, and this is the best I've seen so far. Like, look how well this thing moves, jumping, doing flips in the air. It's just everything. It's the most advanced Kung Fu I've seen in a robot so far. These things are scary, but also, is it a good idea to teach these robots Kung Fu? Ugh.
So what do you guys think? Do you guys think that the more innovation we have towards these robots, the better it is? Do you guys think that these are autonomous robots, or they're being controlled by someone and copying the movements? But at the same time, if they could copy the movement once, I suppose they'd be able to copy it again. So does this scare you, or do you find it just impressive? Do you think that it makes sense for us to continue in this direction? Let me know down below, and let's keep on rocking.
This is amazing. This is the future of weeding. No toxic sprays, no harsh chemicals in the soil. Just lasers, precision light, managing weeds, protecting the crop, and keeping the soil alive. This is working with nature, using and harnessing technology for a safer, cleaner, healthier future in food.
Wow, I had never seen that. I find that amazing, because often we say, oh, look how man has been in evolution, but oftentimes, like if you look at, the structures or the architecture, we actually see a decline, right? But this is truly something that I find is next level, because what is truly archaic, I think, is to put poison on a plant that you're going to eat. That is, not the smartest thing, in my opinion, personally. So what do you guys think about this? Using lasers to target and to not affect the normal crops? I find this is a step forward towards us being a bit healthier and having access to food that is worth eating. Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? Let me know down below. Let's keep on rocking. I know y'all have already seen the memes that say like, oh, Japan or China is living in the year 3000. Sometimes it doesn't make sense, but this actually does make sense. It does look like the future when you look at that show, the way that they've already implemented the robotic help part, very interesting. So do you guys think that it's going to help, or do you guys think that it's going to take away the job from, backup dancers? Do you guys think that it takes away from the art? Or do you find that, listen, times are changing and we got to go with the flow? So let me know down below, and let's keep on rocking.
Doesn't the Parthenon have any straight lines?
It turns out the problem wasn't bad construction.
When the Parthenon was built in 432 BC, the Greeks had spent decades perfecting the design and used the most calculated advanced mathematics to calculate every measurement down to the millimeter. But they discovered a problem with perfection. When you look at straight horizontal lines from far away, your eye tricks you to think that the lines sag inward. The Greeks realized that if they built the Parthenon with straight lines, the entire structure would look warped from a distance and it would ruin how it looked.
So how did the Greeks fix the optical illusion? They fixed it by building it wrong on purpose. I'm here at the only full-scale replica in Nashville, Tennessee, where you can see that the base of the temple rises about 4 inches in the center. The columns lean slightly inward and bulge in the middle, and even the horizontal beams across the top curve upward. But from ground level, these intentional distortions cancel out the optical illusion, making the building look geometrically perfect. So the Greeks knew that perfect architecture isn't about what is straight, it's about what looks straight.
Sabina, what's your opinion? Are particles real?
Are particles real? So I would describe myself as an instrumentalist. I don't believe that mathematics is real. I think mathematics is a tool that we as physicists use to describe the world. And in this mathematics, we have definitions for things that we call particles. That might be an excitation in a field, or it might be an irreducible representation of the Lorentz group, or it might be a quantum of energy, and these are all related. And then we know what we're talking about. That is what I mean by a particle. But are particles real? I don't know. I'm not sure I know what this even means. This is a question I leave to philosophers.
Lucky we've got one.
For me, the interesting question is, are particles fundamental? The particles that we currently know of in the standard model of particle physics, electrons, quarks, photons, and so on, are they fundamental or are they made of something else?
I know we like to say that the science is settled, but truly a lot of the things that we operate on are basically adaptations, or their theories, or their ways of comprehending the world and explaining it. But to hear a physicist say, just utter that question, are particles real, actually just shows how there might be a difference between what we believe has been understood and what truly is understood. Because when you look at a physical representation of something, like let's say a map, the map looks authentic, it looks like it makes sense. But we know nowadays that when you look at the details of the map, it's very hard for it to be a perfect 1-to-1 ratio. It's actually, I think, impossible. And that's why when you see the Mercator map, the projection that Google Map uses, you see the distortion between, let's say, Africa and Greenland, where it looks about the same size, when in reality, Greenland would fit, I think it's 9 times in Africa, something like that. So it kind of makes sense to me that that would, transpose into this application. But tell me what you guys think down below. Do you guys think that the way that we approach science and the science of small things is a physical way of seeing it? Or do you think it's a way that we can understand the concepts and give a name to the effects that happen, when in reality it might look physically different? Just a question. Just wondering what you guys think. Let me know down below, and let's keep on rocking.
All right, boys. So before I got on my freaking airplane ride, my Spirit Airlines ride, I went around looking, right? And I was taking videos, and I was like, oh, Palin gonna freaking love this. But so I was looking for anyone fueling planes, right? I went and I found this truck. I was like, oh man, I wish he'd be fueling. I wonder how much fuel that thing holds, right? I looked it up, okay? I think it's about a 5,000 gallon fuel truck. So let's say 5,000 gallons just to make everything easy, right? Most of Spirit Airlines planes are these A320s or whatever, different versions of them. So I'm pretty sure I was on one of those. And it looks like it's like, let's say roughly 5,000. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. It's only 5,000 gallons of fuel that they're putting in these planes, right? Even though things like the Airbus A380, look, they're saying that they put 85,000 gallons of fuel in those. Like, come on, what are you talking about? What is 85,000 divided by 5,000? They're saying they put 17 of these fucking trucks in there, okay? Okay, so that's a big plane, right? Let's just assume they're putting one of these trucks in my size plane, my little, you know, it's only one floor. These A380s or whatever, they got double deckers, right? So my plane can, at the very least, hold a whole 5,000 gallon truck full of fuel, supposedly, right? So why are they showing up with this? What the hell is that? Look, again, Jet A fuel, okay? Where's the, what is it? They're not putting 5,000 gallons of fuel into this wing. And then don't even get me started on the fact that they say it's in the wings, dude, right? Think about it. You're a big old jet airliner. You're going, what does water do? What does jet fuel do when it tips? It all sloshes, okay? So if you're sloshing it around, do you really want that in the wings? Minus that, if you ever watch outside of the plane wing or the plane windows, what are these wings doing? They're going, are you putting flammable fuel inside of a floppy little wing noodle? What are you talking about? Then also, how long would it take to put 5,000 gallons of fuel? How long does it take to put 10 gallons of fuel in your truck, right? This hose, not that big. It's not that big, right? So this guy was there for like 3 minutes. What the frick are they trying to pull on us? 5,000 gallons of fuel? BS, dude. And I'm not crazy. I'm not saying that we enter like a hyperbaric chamber and they put us to sleep and it's all 3D. I'm saying this is flying on sky electricity, and that's what they're hiding from us. These things get started on the ground. I don't even think the plane starts them. I think they have a machine that starts these turbines, and then they just run from electricity. Their fuel. Love you. Bye.
The planes are very interesting because, it's sort of like the day that they decided to put a price, like a global price on the barrel of oil. They had to make the case that it was biological and that it was a part of let's say, of a dinosaur that got compressed and this and that. So there was biological material, basically, meaning that there would be a limited supply. And since those days now, we see that, we've never missed any, and it seems to be the most abundant liquid on this planet other than water. So what if it was the same thing for the planes, where they're using the fact that you're using that much gas to give the price, right? But what if they weren't? Because like you said, the amount of tankers and trucks that they would need per day, and the speed at which they refuel. And, he's talking about the electricity, which is true in a way. We have measured that at the ground, which is like electrically talking, the ground is ground, right? And then as you go up, basically there's a voltage that amplifies as you go up. So it's not crazy, the idea that there might be electricity involved. But just to give a second theory, let's say, you could also consider the fact that compressed air. So you're going at a speed that's very fast, and you have these turbines that are compressing the air because the entry is big like this and the exit is big like this. So what you're seeing is a compression of air, and then where is that air going? It's going on the wing because the motors are actually in front of the wing. So the air would be going here and it's sort of like pushing it up. So that's just an idea. I've also seen videos of a turbine that was disassembled. And when you see the interior of the turbine, it has these little metal plates that are sticking out. And when you touch them, they sort of hit a certain frequency and resonance. So you hear bing, bang, dong, ding. And the idea would be, sort of like a bee. They say that the way that the bee moves, it's vibrating from its thoracic chamber, and it sort of makes it lighter because of resonance. So what if they were using the concept of resonance, compressed air, electricity? So these are all just ideas that I'm giving you, but it's very interesting to think about the logistics. So the city where I was born, they tell you that there's, let's say, 100 planes per day. And when you do the calculation of how many gallons and how many tankers, it would be literally like a tanker every minute or a tanker every 30 seconds. And again, just the time of refueling. So I find it's just a very interesting question. For me, there's nothing that's really off the table. So let me know what you guys think. Is this crazy? Is this ridiculous? Are we sure? Let me know what you guys think down below, because if you guys see a possibility in this, I might do a deeper dive and show you guys some other content regarding this, because I find it's pretty important, because the freedom and the capability and accessibility of travel and of energy has a very big impulse, a very big effect, let's say, on our capability of creating new technologies, of being self-sufficient. So just putting a barrier to entry to having the gas or the electricity or this or that would change our life significantly. So that's why for me it's not something that I shy away from or that I'm scared of talking about. So let me know if you guys think down below if it's a possibility that there would be some other technology, and that would be the reason that they took the zeppelins away, the balloons that used to fly, because it was too accessible, too easy, right? So let me know what you guys think down below. And like I said, if you ask me, I'm going to do a deeper dive on this. So let's keep on rocking.
X-Men is about Martin Luther King and Malcolm X.
Yes.
Magneto is Malcolm X, and Martin Luther King is Xavier, is Dr. Xavier. Their philosophies were that's where he got it from.
Yeah.
It's all a lot of stuff is from black stories. And they just kind of, Superman is the Egyptian about Osiris, power from the sun. Same thing.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, I read all.
I love that. I'm just now hearing that for the first time. I never knew that.
I love that. And when I was with Stan Lee, I love bragging about it, because I don't care. If you didn't meet Stan Lee, you can't with me.
Yeah.
Stan Lee, I was in his office for 3 hours. He was 89 years old. My friend went on a break, said, yo, hang out with Stan. I'm sitting with Stan Lee. I said, like, what the fuck? He goes, Godfrey, I want to show you something here. You see this picture of Wesley Snipes? Big ass picture of Snipes with the blade. He goes, he's the reason why Marvel got out of bankruptcy. It was him.
Wow.
It was because we had Blade. Blade is the reason he saved Wesley. And I go, and we ain't seen another Blade in 25 goddamn years.
Crazy.
But they got 18 Spider-Mans, 90 this, and Wesley Snipes saved. But this is how fucked up his business is.
Yep. Look at that.
Eddie Murphy saved SNL. Bill Cosby saved NBC. In Living Color, changed the halftime for Fox.
Oh.
Michael Jackson saved the halftime of Super Bowl in 1993.
Still the most watched Super Bowl of all time.
Black people sell.
Super Bowl halftime. So.
We sell. It's just that they just can't get it out of their heads. They think we just can't give them too much because they'll do something. We're not going to act like you. We're not like that.
No,
we like to see everybody win. We ain't like you.
Yeah.
And it's pathetic. It's like black people sell. They didn't think black people sold overseas. They was like, you guys don't sell. But then Black Panther gets $1 billion. And then I was in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And they were like, this is the only movie we've let in. Because they ban all American in Saudi. They go, no, Black Panther, yalla, yalla.
Wow, I had never heard that actually. It's very interesting. It actually makes me think of, the story of the Matrix and the Terminator were connected, and they were written as well by a black lady. And I find there's no credit that's given. And the part that really stuck with me is the fact, like when he said, Blade saved Marvel, and there hasn't been a movie in 25 years, yet there's been 18 of the Superman, of the Spider-Mans and this and that. Very interesting, because really, when you think about it, why wouldn't they release things that they know work, and they would try to, I say ruin, but, like destroy all these long-standing franchises. I have a hard time understanding Disney, to be honest, and everything that they've been doing in the past, let's say 10 years with the movies. Like personally, I grew up and it was a very big thing, Star Wars. Like it was the original movies, and it was a super big thing. And now I can't even bring myself to watch the new ones. It's like I can't even follow it. It just seems so distorted and so. And to make a quick parallel, if you guys haven't seen, there's a movie or a trailer about when Anakin sort of becomes Darth Vader, and it's all done by one person using AI. And I think that's going to be the downfall of these companies, because for once we're going to be able to create the things that we want to watch, and we won't have to wait for them to provide it to us. So I think we've hit like a limit where the things we want to see, whether it be another Blade or whether it be he was saying the black comic books, or whatever it is, I think now we're going to have the capability of doing it. And when they see the response, I feel like now we're going to be able to have a bit more negotiating power. So I'm very interested to see where, Hollywood and the movie business is about to go, because I feel like the fact that we're able to influence it and actually render movies is gonna put us in competition with the bigger companies. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Do you guys see the fact that maybe they've had control for too long and they've been taking decisions that haven't been based on the reception and have been based maybe on things that they'd like to put into our subconscious, our mental? Let me know what you guys think down below, because we all know that Hollywood comes from the wood of the holly tree, which is how they used to make magic wands, right? So there is something metaphysical and something magical about the way Hollywood has been handled, let's say, in the past 100 years. So let me know what you guys think down below, and let's keep on rocking.
Our banking system just got exposed, and they're using crypto to multiply your money behind the scenes because nobody understands it. You're going to understand it now. The Genius Act was signed into law in July that allowed banks to create stablecoins legally. If a customer wants a stablecoin, the bank can issue it, but the customer needs to give the bank real cash, and they get to use that cash for investments. I don't know if you guys knew that. So you get 100,000, for example, in the form of a stablecoin to use in crypto, and the bank gets to use your 100,000 for other investments. The vast majority of those investments are usually treasury bills. So the bank takes your money, they put it into treasury bills. Now, a treasury bill is basically debt from the United States. Will pay back that 100 grand and interest to the original investor. And the original investor in this case is the bank. So the treasury bills may be sold as purchase securities for repurchase agreements. The fine print exposes everything. They can use the treasury bills for repurchase agreements. So here's the stable coin. Here's the real $100,000 cash. It gets put into the... I want you to remember the colors because it shows the multiplication, duplication they're doing. Because got 100,000 from the bank, which was your money from the stablecoin, they get a treasury worth 100,000 plus a 3% yield. The bank profits $3,000 off of your money. And then because of the fine print we just read, they're allowed to take that treasury and loan it out to an investment bank and get another lump sum of cash for no reason. Let's read it again just in case you forgot. Treasury bills may be sold for repurchase agreements. This is called the repurchase agreement. So the investment bank takes a little fee and they give the original bank even more cash. $99,000, they take their fee, they give them more cash. And then they take that new cash and you guessed it, they put it right back into debt. The government gets another investment, that's the green right there, and then the government another T-bill for another 3% yield. So the original bank has two T-bills and double their yield. Now this is where it gets even more scary. Well, remember that person that got the stable coins out? Imagine if they were colluding with the bank and they decided to take that stable coin and put it right back into debt in the form of tokenized treasuries. Right now in crypto, you can buy tokenized debt. Yeah, there's a token version of everything I explained up there, and you can get the 3% yield. So now it has three lump sums from that original $100,000, and you thought it was over. Well, if you invest in tokenized debt, they give you a token worth your dollar amount. Right now, it's called USYC for one of the funds. Binance offers loans against USYC right now. So on that original 100,000, you could take a 70% loan, and then you guessed it, put it right back into debt. The original $100,000 now has 4 forms of yield. Everybody's waiting for the inject liquidity into the market, but they're already doing it through stablecoin multiplication. And we are going to have the greatest bull run we have ever seen in human history. It's going to be similar to the 2008 bubble.
Wow, that was a lot of information. Gee whiz. So this makes me think, like, money came from the idea of value, and now we've gotten so far away from value that it's seeming like a video game. It's seeming like, when you go on a game and you look for money duplication glitch, you could find some of those. Seems like that's what's going on. So you're buying it, and then they're reinvesting it, but they're also buying treasury, which is debt, which we end up paying at the end of the day. And again, they could re-lend it, re-put the assets and start the circle again. So yeah, it feels like banks have been given basically a blank check. And that's without speaking that in the days of the COVID a couple of years ago, they went, fractional reserve spending means I have $100. Normally it was I have to keep $10 and I could lend out $90. Now it's zero. So meaning they could have $0 and lend out $1 billion and no one's none the wiser. So I don't see how this changes anything in the way that there's really no value behind bank money. But at the same time, I'm seeing what he's saying where it's involved with the treasuries. So it's like a cycle that's over and over again. It makes me think like the way like when you get a mortgage, the bank is like doubly insured. It's insured with your assets. It's also insured with an insurance company and your insurance company. So they're actually triple protected. It seems the same way. It's like they're 10 times protected and us, we have to pay for everything. So I don't know. I don't know where we're going with this because it just seems like the more they win, the more they devalue, but the more they devalue, the more the crash is about to come, right? Unless they are artificially inflate. And so I guess that's what he meant at the end with the bull run. So everyone's going to feel like they're winning when actually the disparity between the people winning and the people at the bottom are going to be so much bigger. So I don't know if I caught all of this. Maybe I'm probably missing some parts. So if you have any information to give and share, don't hesitate, write it down below. I'm still learning about all of these subjects. This is why I'm here. This is why I made the channel. So we could collaborate and we could collaborate on ideas and build better ideas together. So let me know what you guys think down below. Do you have a wallet? Do you keep it on a cold storage? Do you keep it on the exchanges? I'm going to put some more crypto stuff in the next videos. So please don't hesitate, write down below and let's keep on rocking.
How were we allowed to be fooled for so long? And no, I'm not talking about this beautiful architecture here, saying it was built by horse and buggy. I'm talking about Timu, Han Solo, and Chewbacca here. Hawkins was a literal puppet on that world stage. Did you know, before Hawkins had his fancy little computer, he had a translator talk for him?
I think, in a way, physics has been a progress away from mysticism towards a rational understanding of the universe.
Stephen, when did you first realize you wanted to be a physicist?
Oh.
I think I knew from about the age of 9 or 10 that I wanted to be a scientist. Most of my activities, like playing with model fireworks, or model railways, or playing complicated games, was aimed in some way at finding out how the world worked around me. I was never very good with my hands, so my models did not work very well. But I was always interested in models that I could control. And I think that nowadays I have translated that into studying physics. Because in a way, if you understand the universe, then you have control of it.
I don't know. I gotta say, that interviewer was pretty solid to not break out in laughter, to be honest. I would have been laughing for sure. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that it's real? Or do you guys think that it's possible that he was a puppet? What easier puppet could you have than one that talks with a computer box? You know, that was before that time. But do you think he was translating? Do you think maybe he knew it ahead of time, right? Who knows? But do you think it's possible that, you know, some of these scientific role models might be, you know, government plans or, you know, to control the public opinion or to get us to stray away from God? Or, I mean, there's so many reasons, right? So I don't know. I have no opinion on this at all. So you guys let me know. Do you guys think that was a pure translation, or do you guys think it's a bit ridiculous? Let me know down below. Let's keep on rocking.
that a Gen Z person might get recruited is, let's just use you as an example. Somebody comes up and says, hey man, I love your podcast. And they say, I have a serious question for you though. Would you consider yourself a patriot? Now I've got you locked into identity. And then I say, well, I have an offer for you, but before I show you anything, I just want you to say yes or no. Would you be willing to entertain the offer? And it might be uncomfortable. Stage one is I show you all of your browsing history, captures from your webcams on all of your phones and computers of you doing the most you could ever possibly imagine. And I'd say, I like your podcast. I think you're doing a great job, and I want to protect you. I want to keep all this from the public eye. We also want to give you $20,000 a month. So now you feel like you chose all of this. I told you it was going to be stressful, and you agreed to it. If you say yes, the reason that you're doing this on your podcast is for your country, because you're not going to call yourself compromised. We have this thing called cognitive dissonance that keeps our brain from thinking I'm a bad person. Even though you're being asked to silence people, not have certain people on the show, leave something out of your podcast, you're telling yourself, and whoever's your handler is telling you this is for the greater good, and you kept the Americans safe by doing that. And you'll tell yourself that, and you'll feel good about it.
What happens if I say no?
Well, damn. So that's how the CIA recruits. Well, I'm going to go ahead and spill the beans so they can't even recruit me. With me, there's nothing compromising that you could find. It's just nothing but porn. What? Y'all going to shame me? No. All you're going to see is big is 2. Ebony Baddies 3. You're just gonna see the webcam. This is gonna be my 2 hands. Just you can't shame the shameless for real. So yeah, what? I'm rubbing a one off to Skin Diamond. Shit, I ain't got shame. Skin Diamond is. Also, a special shout out to Lexi Love. Thank you for following me. You and I, we had an amazing Thanksgiving day. It was the greatest 3, you, me, and Pamela. It was dope. So to whoever's watching this, the agent assigned to me, I know you're. I don't be watching nothing stupid. I don't do nothing but regular good old. So can't shame me, shameless.
That was pretty dope. But it gives you a little bit of a perspective, you know. Sometimes we wonder why people act a certain way, and we don't really understand why people change their attitudes, especially when they're in the limelight. It's so easy to corrupt someone. It's so easy. I mean, that's without threatening their family or this or that, right? So very easy. So be careful who you believe in. Try not to have too many idols. Try not to put people on a pedestal. We're all human. We're all the same. Well, I mean, most of us, don't get me wrong. What do you guys think? Would you be compromised? Are you scared to be exposed? That's not a good look, you know? If you're scared to be exposed, maybe you should, you know, comport yourself in a way where you don't live with shame, you know? So, anyways, very interesting. Let me know what you guys think down below. Would you be easily corruptible if they made you that offer? Do you have things to hide? Let us know down below. I know you won't, but you can. And that's a wrap for today, familia. Whether you're tuning in with the sunrise or you're posted up after midnight, I appreciate your time, your energy, your curiosity. And don't forget, this isn't about truth or fiction. This is about perspective. If this sparked a laugh, a thought, a deeper question, then we did our job. So drop your thoughts in the comments, keep the convo alive, like, subscribe, and hit that bell if you're riding a wave, because we're just getting started. Until next time, stay grounded, stay weird, stay critical. I'm Adam Strain, and this has been Adam Strain Reacts. Peace. What y'all think, but now's the time for us to link up. Really think we on the brink of making a change from living this strange.